Who Are You is the eighth studio album by English rock band The Who, released through Polydor Records in the United Kingdom and MCA Records in the United States. It peaked at number 2 on the US charts and number 6 on the UK charts. It is The Who's last album with Keith Moon as the drummer. Moon died 20 days after the release of this album. In 1996, the album was re-released in remixed form. Some of the elements from the original mixes were eliminated, including on the songs Had Enough, 905, and Guitar and Pen. However, Trick of the Light was restored to its full length of 4:45. Composition, Overview. Who Are You was put out at a time when the two major camps of rock, progressive rock and punk rock, were conflicting due to their antipodal styles. Pete Townshend's compositions were written as an attempt to bring the two styles together. The album showcases some of the most complicated song structures Townshend had ever composed, with multiple layers of synthesizer and strings. Many of the songs also represented another attempt by Townshend to complete his long-contemplated Lifehouse project. Like Who's Next, many of whose songs were also inspired by Lifehouse, many tracks on Who Are You feature prominent synthesizer parts and lyrics about songwriting and music as a metaphor for life. There was a 3-year hiatus between Who Are You and The Who's previous album, The Who by Numbers. The band was drifting apart during this period, due to the band members working on various solo projects, Moon sinking deeper into alcohol and drug abuse. Moon's health was especially an object of concern, as he only managed to come in during the last few weeks of recording and was unable to play in June 8 time on the track Music Must Change, so drums were removed completely from the track and only a few cymbal crashes were added. Moon died just under a month after its release, and on the cover, he is shown sitting in a chair ironically labeled Not to be Taken Away. Moon had insisted on sitting in the chair with the back to the camera so as to hide his distended stomach, the result of his alcoholism. Sister Disco, main article, Sister Disco seems to mourn the death of disco, although it could be construed to be a criticism of it. It features complicated synthesizer tracks that are the result of hours Townshend spent programming an ARP2600 synthesizer. The song was never performed with Moon. However, it was performed regularly when The Who toured with Kenny Jones as drummer, and quickly became a live favorite, despite Townshend's claim that this was his least favorite song to perform. It was included on the band's 2002 Ultimate Collection album. It was also revived for their fall 2008 tour. Empty Glass. The song Empty Glass appears as a bonus track on reissues of the album. The lyrics in this version are notable for having more suicidal undertones than those in the final version, which appeared on Pete Townshend's solo album Empty Glass. Most notably, the line, "Killing each other, then we jump off the ledge" was changed to "Killing each other by driving a wedge" for the final version. Reception. The album was a commercial success, going to platinum in the US and Canada, gold in UK, and peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart. The soundtrack to Grease prevented Who Are You from achieving number 1 status in the US. The success of Who Are You generated excitement at the prospect of a new Who tour for the album. However, the album is surrounded by tragedy for Who fans due to Moon's death shortly after the album's release. The songs on the album were later performed on tour in 1979 when The Who were joined by new drummer Kenny Jones and keyboardist John Bundrick. Bundrick had been invited to play on the album, but broke his arm falling out of a taxi at the studio door and was unable to participate. Live performances, spanning the band's career, just slightly less than half of the album has been played live. Who Are You was the first of the album's songs to have a live performance, its first dating to a concert from the band's 1976 tour at the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario, albeit in a very raw and abbreviated version extremely different from the finished product. Another early and abbreviated live performance with Moon can be found on the DVD The Who at Kilburn, 1977. It was played as part of the encore for The Who's 2012 Quadrophenia and More tour. On The Who's 1979 tour, only 4 songs were played live: Sister Disco, Music Must Change, Trick of the Light, and Who Are You. On that tour, Sister Disco was played quite close to the studio version. except that the guitar outro was changed from country style to a more bluesy one, except in 1989, where Townshend used acoustics, and 2008 a Euro 09, where he could switch his Fender from electric mode to acoustic mode. Townshend actually stated in an interview that this was one of his least favorite songs to perform live. It was played in the tours of 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982, 1989, 2008 and 2009. Music Must Change was often given an extended workout live, with performances usually ranging from 7 to 9 minutes. It was played in the 1979, 1980 and 1981 tours, and was also rehearsed for the 2002 tour. Sadly, Entwistle died before the start of the tour and the band were not able to perform this song. The Who have not been known to play New Song, Had Enough, 905, Guitar and Pen, and Love Is Coming Down. However, the John Entwistle Band used to play the Entwistle Pen songs. 1996 Remix and Remaster. In 1996 John Astley remixed and remastered the original album. The 1996 CD Remix Remaster album replaced the original analog mixes that were issued on vinyl and CD since the original release. The 1996 remaster included 5 bonus tracks including alternate mixes for Guitar and Pen, and Love Is Coming Down. 2011 remaster. On December 24, 2011 Universal Japan reissued the original analog mixes of the album on CD for the first time in over a decade. Although the album used the original mixes, the bonus tracks from the 1996 album were included using vintage mixes where possible for these tracks. The album was reissued in a miniature replica of the vinyl album for CD. As of January 2012, there were no plans to reissue these original mixes on CD anywhere other than on this limited, numbered edition of the album in Japan. Track listing: all songs written by Pete Townshend, unless otherwise noted. Sales chart performance, album, singles, sales certifications, personnel, The Who, Roger Daltrey Euro lead vocals, percussion, John Entwistle Euro bass guitar, backing vocals, synthesizer, brass on Had Enough, and Music Must Change, lead vocals on 905, Pete Townshend Euro guitars, backing vocals, piano, synthesizer, lead vocals on Sister Disco, No Road Romance, and Empty Glass, Keith Moon Euro drums, percussion, additional musicians, Rod Argenter Euro synthesizer on Had Enough, piano on Who Are You, keyboards on Guitar and Pen, Ted Astley Euro string arrangement, Andy Fairweather Lauer Euro backing vocals on New Song, Had Enough, Guitar and Pen, Love Is Coming Down, and Who Are You, Billy Nichols Euro backing vocals on New Song, and Had Enough, Michael Nichols Euro backing vocals on Had Enough. References. External links, AllMusic. Who Are You credits. Retrieved December 27, 2004.